Kelly Granger watched Eli Turner from across the playground. It was as if the 6-year-old boy she attacked wasn't a stranger, but someone from a life she believed was taken from her. Nothing bad ever seemed to happen until one sunny Saturday afternoon at Willow Park. A young boy had been attacked by an adult. The woman was someone locals recognized. She walked her dog in the neighborhood, shopped at the same stores. But now, she had done something unthinkable. The boy, Eli Turner, was taken to the hospital with a bloody nose and a mild concussion. Witnesses said the woman, a 38-year-old Kelly Granger, stood up from a bench, walked straight to Eli, and suddenly head-butted him in the face. Parents screamed, some grabbed their kids, and a few tackled Kelly until police arrived. A video of her being arrested barefoot, silent, and without emotion quickly spread online and shocked the town. At first, people couldn't believe it. Why would a woman attack a child she didn't know? Rumors spread. Some thought she had a mental breakdown, others blamed the child. But as police started digging into the case, it became clear this wasn't just a strange one-time incident. Something darker had been going on. Conversations turned serious. Social media exploded with anger and questions. But even those who knew Kelly, old co-workers, distant relatives, were just as shocked. She had never been violent. No criminal history. No mental health issues on record. But something had clearly changed. Police started looking into Kelly's past. On paper, her life was ordinary. She had always lived in Brookvale, stayed in the same small house after her parents passed, and worked for years at a daycare called Little Nest before quitting 6 months ago. Her record was clean. But when detectives talked to people who had worked with her, things started to sound different. Some remembered her acting oddly with certain children, being too strict with some and too attached to others. One coworker said Kelly once cried when a toddler didn't hug her. Another recalled her getting upset when a parent said she was too controlling. Police also found that 3 parents had made complaints over the years, but nothing had ever been done. The daycare had likely ignored the warnings to protect its image. When Kelly quit her job, she said she was burned out, but her coworkers remembered something else. She had stopped joining meetings, said strange things about not being appreciated, and spent more time watching the kids instead of helping them. Her medical records showed no official mental health problems, but her house told a different story. Her notebooks were filled with scribbled thoughts she never acted out before. It was the final step in a long, hidden breakdown, and the town was only beginning to understand just how deep it went. Police looked at what happened on the day of the attack, hoping to understand why Kelly did it. There were cameras near the park entrance and parking lot. When investigators checked the footage, they saw something strange. It wasn't a sudden attack. It looked planned. Kelly came to the park at 2:17 p.m., carrying a small bag. She sat on a bench under a tree and watched the playground. She didn't use her phone or read. She only watched one child, Eli Turner. She sat there for nearly 30 minutes, just staring at him. Then at 2:48 p.m., she got up, walked straight to Eli, and head-butted him in the face. She didn't say a word. People said it felt like a nightmare. But the video showed this wasn't random, it was on purpose. Police started asking, why Eli? Was there any connection? At first, they found nothing. But then they discovered Ellie's mom, Megan Turner, had gone to the same high school as Kelly. They graduated in 2004. Megan was popular, friendly, and active in school. Kelly was quiet and stayed out of the spotlight. Then police found something important, an old report from school. Kelly had complained about being bullied in high school. She said a girl named Megan Wills, now Megan Turner, had spread rumors, made prank calls, and embarrassed her. Kelly felt alone and sad. A school counselor even wrote that she once said she wanted to disappear. She kept writing the same thing. She stole what was mine. At first, police thought she meant a child. But now they knew she meant Megan. Megan had everything Kelly wanted: a family, a career, and a happy life. Kelly had none of that. She worked at a daycare, always around children, maybe trying to feel closer to the life she dreamed of. This attack wasn't just about Eli. It came from jealousy, pain, and old anger. Eli, who to her symbolized everything she had lost. And they feared there were still more dark secrets waiting to be found. The search of Kelly Granger's house started quietly. Police thought they might find some personal things or more of her journals. But what they found was much more surprising. From the outside, Kelly's house on Maple Avenue looked normal. The grass was cut, and the windows had clean curtains. But inside, the house felt strange. It was clean and neat, but it didn't feel like someone really lived there. It felt more like a place made to look like a home, not a real one. In the basement, the police found a locked door. When they opened it, they were shocked. Inside was a hidden room. The walls were full of old school pictures, yearbook pages, and many photos of Megan Turner and her family. The scariest part was a wall covered with pictures of Eli. Some were from social media, but others were taken without anyone knowing. There were pictures of him playing, walking, or eating ice cream. Normal things, but someone had secretly watched and taken photos. In the middle of the room, there was a small bed with dinosaur sheets and a teddy bear. On the bed was a birthday card that said, "Happy birthday, my son," but there was no sign a child had ever been there. It was clear Kelly believed Eli was her son. The police also found many notebooks. She wrote about taking care of him and how he loved her. But that wasn't true. Kelly was no longer thinking clearly. Her sadness had turned into a dangerous obsession. That's what led to the attack. Doctors said Kelly had a serious mental illness. She had been alone for many years, and she created a fake world in her mind. She was too sick to go to court. Instead, she was sent to a hospital to get help for a long time. The Turner family was very sad. Kids. No one thought she could do something like this until it was too late.